University, and I think some other universities now too, have it part of their honor code that, you will not use Adderall and other ADHD meds because that is considered cheating. So they're really focusing on the unfair competition aspect of it. But a student who wants to use these drugs might make the argument that, okay, but it's also helping you learn more, it's also helping you become a better engineer or, for cancer or whatever. Now, let me segue there to the second question about exercise and other kinds of interventions. What do we know about how effective these drugs are? Well, clearly, if you're sleep deprived, they probably do make a big difference. That's both the stimulants and the modafinil. If you're not sleep deprived, it's really not clear how much of an effect there is. There's reason to believe that there's a lot of unpublished null results, and it's really not clear how effective they are. In contrast, the exercise literature in animals, as you say, in humans, there have been randomized clinical trials now showing substantial cognitive gains in adults, randomized to exercise or not. And it's really, I think, when I talk to students about cognitive enhancement, I say, look, the best thing to do, or what your grandmother told you to do, and in fact, now neuroscience is catching up and showing you, using brain imaging and other methods, that grandma really did have the right ideas. And so, in addition to behavioral results, exercise in humans has various kinds of neuroimaging correlates that suggest that it really is benefiting the brain. Another thing, you and I were talking earlier about mindfulness meditation. Astonishingly short interventions, 5 hours training, something crazy like that with mindfulness meditation, actually results in detectable changes in brain structure and or function. I can't remember if there was a 5 hour, there's 11 hour, but one of them shows the beta J node, something different for help, improved white matter integrity going into the anterior cingulate cortex, very large, substantial effects. Sleep, getting adequate night's sleep, which fewer and fewer of us do, also has measurable effects on brain function. What are some of the other things that grandma, there's stress management, meditation, exercise, I can't remember anything. People like taking a pill, but it's not clear that those effects really are the biggest.
Functional neuroimaging is a fantastic field right now, and we are using it for understanding a lot of issues, starting from autism to a variety of other issues. And if you believe it is good enough, then a lot of the decision makers who start a new war or some other major issues that drain our economy from this news in the Wall Street. So don't you think it is a good idea to suggest that before we elect some of those guys, we should have a good functional imaging of their brain for choosing a right decision maker?
Well, I appreciate that question because I think, some people would say, what a fanciful science fiction idea, but I think it is a very natural thing to ask, given, what we read in the journals that I just was telling you. Right now, among the terrific accomplishments of functional neuroimaging is not being able to tell you much about the psychology of individual people. That's changing. There are exceptions already, but we really would not learn much. I mean, yes, now there are imaging protocols that seem to offer pretty good prediction of Alzheimer's disease a number of years before somebody's symptomatic. So maybe if, there was John McCain, or maybe he had Ronald Reagan scans, we might have recognized, that was a common problem. But just in terms of the kinds of attributes we want in a leader, aside from health and things like Alzheimer's disease, but just, sort of good judgment, honesty, these kinds of things. I don't think right now we know enough about how to scan for those traits and how to interpret the scans. I think in 20 years, maybe even 10, the answer would be different, but right now I don't think we really know.
Since you are covering these issues in depth and widely known, maybe you should write an editorial in the journal suggesting that this should be done.
Okay, I think perhaps...
I have a question, if I may. The issue of neural enhancement, I think to some degree maybe it's every 100 years on stage. Just on the idea of caffeine and coffee and tea and the supposition that is the biggest engine to the Renaissance and kind of how we ended up here. Mm-hmm. So, it's just something I guess seems inevitable because we've already been doing it.
No, I think,
maybe the line is arbitrary.
Yeah, okay. Well, so you're talking about the line between these kind of, neuropsychiatry, prescription, stimulants, and older things. I mean, coca leaves, farmers in South America have been chewing coca leaves for thousands of years, basically to give them energy and persistence, when they're working long hours to bring in the harvest and so forth. And I do think there is a sense in which Adderall and modafinil are on a continuum with these more familiar drugs, including caffeine. But there are some important differences as well. So the very length of time that we have experience with things like caffeine gives it a certain safety factor that we don't have. I mean, we know very little about long-term effects of these drugs in anybody, let alone normal healthy people taking them, for example. So, and we also, the difference between chewing coca leaves and taking cocaine or, a synthetic drug like amphetamine, and sort of everything from, the behavioral effects to this addiction and so forth, shows that you can be basically sort of, tweaking the same neurochemistry, but the molecule by which you seek it and the delivery of the drug by which you seek it can really change the impact on the individual and on society. So I think, there's a sense in which these are familiar issues, but there's a sense in which they're new as well.
If I can follow up, but that sort of opens another door in that it's sort of saying, well, if we can prove that it will be beneficial, then it's okay. If the good outweighs the bad, then it's okay. So it's not really an issue of enhancement, it's an issue of benefit and danger.
Well, okay. I mean, this is, basically the fine print in my LCS slide would be, the kind of place marker for where we talk about these things. I think, you can just take the same kind of benefit calculation approach to enhancement and to therapeutic medication and just basically say, okay, maybe we should count the benefit a little less because the person doesn't take the begin with, whatever. There are some differences though. I mean, here's one example. Let's just say that you're in an office where a few people in your group of 6 are using modafinil to add one all-nighter to their work week each week. Okay? So after a while, your boss starts to notice, gee, there's some really fantastically productive people on this team, and there's some people who are looking more and more like slackers like you, and you begin to get pressure, either implicit or explicit, to start doing this yourself. Okay? But you know what? How many people could try to come up with an example that has a similar quality to it with therapeutic uses of medications? But I think it's pretty hard. Whereas this is something that I see as not like a realistic science fiction in the future, but potentially an issue coming up sooner even now with people who feel like this is going to keep up the need to grow. So in other words, it can have the effect of limiting our freedom, or freedom to choose not to use these drugs. Thank you so much.
Welcome to the Wednesday afternoon lecture series. My name is Veronica Alvarez. I'm an investigator at NICU today. And today is really my honor, and I have learned to say those words when they're really required, to introduce you the speaker of the lecture, Dr. Bernardo Sabatini. Bernardo Sabatini obtained a PhD from the Department of Neurobiology at Harvard Medical School, and his MD degree from Harvard MIT Joint Program in Health Sciences and Technology, not so long ago, 1999. Then following a family tradition, actually, Bernardo has dedicated his career to research and work in the laboratory. He did a postdoctoral fellowship in the laboratory of Carlos Sabora at Cold Spring Harbor Laboratories in New York. And after that, he joined the faculty in the Department of Neurobiology at Harvard Medical School in 2001 and has remained there since then. Bernardo has received numerous awards and honors during his career, and I'm going to start with some of the latest. In 2008, he was named an investigator of the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. In 2010, he was named Takeda Professor of Neurobiology at Harvard Medical School. Before that, for instance, he had received the Young Investigator Award from the Society of Neuroscience in 2008, McKnight Technology Award, Innovation Award. He has been a McKnight Field Fellow that funded his lab for a long time when he started at Harvard. So his laboratory focused on understanding the function and regulation of synapses in the mammalian brain, with particular interest in how the function of synapses is perturbed during disease. Some of them are autism, Parkinson, and Alzheimer that he research projects have been focusing on lately. I have to say that I have had the honor to be a postdoctoral fellow in Bernardo's lab and receive training there, and I think that beyond besides of his very impressive CV, it actually doesn't do justice to the really amazing investigator and researcher he is. He's extremely creative, and so working with him in science is actually a lot of fun. And I think another quality of Bernardo's, beyond of the usual, smart, hardworking, all those things that we all know are required for science, I think Bernardo is extremely brave, and I've learned, I got inspired by this when I was working with him. I think you sometimes need to be brave and take risks to tackle these important and meaningful questions in science, and I think Bernardo has that. He's doing that really well. And examples of his creativity and his lack of fear, the amount of new technologies, both optical and chemical, that are being developed in his lab in order to further study the function of synapses. So he's going to tell us about self-stimulation, how the brain wires itself, and surprising new ways that it turns out it turns itself off. Okay, sorry. So welcome. Thank you, Bernardo.
Thank you, Veronica. I'm very honored to have been the subject of that introduction. And what Veronica didn't tell you is that she was actually the founding member of my lab. She arrived at Harvard about 2 months before I did, and was the first person there, obviously, and really helped me get things going. So a lot of the success that my laboratory has had is really due to people in Veronica who were very pioneering and brave to join my lab when I was completely unknown. So thank you. So I'm going to tell you about University of Wayne. I'm going to tell you about a project that was just completed in the lab, and is about to appear online. Hopefully some of you have not read it yet, so it won't be boring for you. That's the first part. I think I'll understand this in a minute. And then if I have time, I will get to some surprising new results that are totally unpublished and really unfinished, and that's the second part here about how the brain turns itself off. But I may not get to it. We'll see how it is. So this is the animal that we study in the lab. This is a laboratory mouse shown here on the left. This is obviously a new mother. She has a bunch of pups in her, liver pups. And one of the things we try to understand in the laboratory is the remarkable transition that happens between this stage of development and this stage of development. So just after birth, these pups are very limited in their behavioral repertoire. Their locomotor ability, both gross locomotor ability and fine motor skills, are incredibly poor. There's very little they can do. Their sensory systems are not yet fully developed. And essentially at this stage, all they can really do is find their mother, suckle, and grow and continue to develop. But within a few weeks after birth, these animals become fully autonomous creatures. In the wild, they're able to forage over approximately a square kilometer. They're able to remember their way through their environment. They're able to associate sensory cues with the presence of rewards, like food, water, or mates, or the versa things like the presence of predators. And so we want to understand what occurs in the brain that allows this remarkable developmental maturation in just a few weeks. And so, in particular, we're interested in these rapid progressions that are shown here, rapid increase in locomotor ability, navigational ability, and in particular, this ability to form associations between stimuli and rewards. And when we think about these kinds of problems, it's important to differentiate between two kinds of plasticity that can occur in the brain. So one is the changes in the brain itself that allow it to become an organ that can learn. Right? It's essentially a developmental question. What changes from here to here that this animal is now capable of doing quite sophisticated learning? That's one problem we're interested in. That's really a developmental problem. That's mostly what I'll tell you about today. And secondly, the related question is what actually changes in the brain itself when an animal acutely learns. So when this animal learns that this kind of meat tastes particularly good and something that can seek out, what has happened in this brain? And that's a much more acute form of plasticity that's thought to happen at the level of changes in how cells talk to each other, how synapses act. Now, the part of the brain I'm going to tell you about today is the basal ganglia. And because the basal ganglia is necessary for many fundamental behaviors seen in mammals and humans as well. And so, for example, the proper function of basal ganglia is necessary to generate purposeful movements, and it's also necessary for many forms of reward-based learning, reinforcement learning. And this is made quite clear by diseases of the basal ganglia in humans. So, for example, Parkinson's disorder, Huntington's disorder, two neurodegenerative, quite devastating disorders, are both diseases of the basal ganglia. Furthermore, drug addiction, many forms of drug addiction, drugs of abuse, the mechanism of action of these drugs is actually by changing the activity of neurons within the basal ganglia. And so most drugs of abuse act by increasing the levels of dopamine in one part of the basal ganglia, the striatum. And of course, that has very profound effects on human behavior and can really co-opt the whole behavioral repertoire of a person, drive them into intense drug-seeking behavior. There's emerging evidence that many other diseases, including obsessive compulsive disorder, Tourette syndrome, ADHD, and other neuropsychiatric disorders, also have components of basal ganglia dysfunction. So just to get everybody on the same page, I'm going to spend a little bit of time outlining the circuitry of the basal ganglia. And for those of you in the audience who are experts in basal ganglia, or they come from a primate physiology background, so you can understand, I'm going to show you a very simplified, mouse-centric view of the basal ganglia. So the basal ganglia consists of two interlocking loops. So there's a projection from cortex, from many areas of cortex, into the striatum. This is a cytatory projection. These are cells that release glutamate and stimulate the striatum. From the striatum, there's a projection of inhibitory neurons that goes to the substantia nigra reticularis. This is an inhibitory projection release of GABA. In turn, then, there's an inhibitory projection back to the thalamus, and then an excitatory projection back to the cortex and striatum. So if you look at this loop, there's several excitatory projections and two inhibitory projections. And so the net sign of this loop is one of excitation. This is called the direct pathway, and it's thought that activity of the cortex acts through this loop to reinforce activity of the cortex. So it's really positive feedback loop. In parallel, there's a second pathway called the indirect pathway, in which there's an extra synapse. So the striatum, again, we have inhibitory neurons that make synapses next to the globus pallidus, and then the globus pallidus sends a second inhibitory neuron to the substantia nigra reticulata. And so now in this case, we have three inhibitory synapses in the loop, and therefore the net sign of this is inhibition. It's thought that the activity of the indirect pathway suppresses activity in cortex. This is a negative feedback loop. And this division between direct and indirect pathway is going to be something that we will pay attention to throughout the whole talk. Okay, so here's another view of the basal ganglia cortical circuit. And what we thought was interesting about the development of the circuit is that here we have a circuit with many nuclei, many components in it, some of which are excitatory, and some of which are inhibitory. So it was unknown in the human brain how such a circuit would develop by itself. What was the role of activity in these kinds of recurrent loops in stabilizing the circuitry and helping it form? And we know that a lot of the maturation of basal ganglia circuitry actually happens after birth, for example, in a mouse in the second week of life. So it's quite likely to believe that the experience of the animal, its sensory environment, and patterns of activity in the brain in this postnatal period would actually play a role in governing the formation of the circuit. So now let's spend a little bit more time on these two pathways, the direct and indirect pathway, because the division is very important. So it turns out that both the direct and indirect pathway, these two pathways of information flowing through the basal ganglia, are formed by a class of neurons called the medium spiny neurons. Some people call these spiny projection neurons. I just got used to calling them medium spiny neurons. These are the principal cells of the striatum. They form the output. And they're really a curious cell type because they're inhibitory, yet they send long-range projections. And that breaks one of the general rules in the brain, which is that the long-range projections are usually formed by movement-search and excitatory neurons. Okay? As you'll see in a minute, these cells are also covered with a high density of what are called dendritic fibers. These are these peculiar mushroom-shaped specializations at which excitatory synapses are formed. It's also atypical for inhibitory neurons to have dendritic spines. This is another one of these rules that's broken by this type of cell in the brain. There are 3 or 4 examples of cells like this in the brain that gather projection neurons that have spines. So now it turns out the direct and indirect pathway medium spiny neurons pretty much look the same within the striatum. We can't really tell them apart, but there are fundamental differences between them. One of which is an anatomical difference that I already mentioned. The direct pathway neurons project the substantia nigra reticulata, whereas the indirect pathway neurons project the globus pallidus. There are also molecular differences. These cells express the type 1 dopamine receptor, whereas these cells express the type 2 dopamine receptor. And that distinction is fundamentally important because these two types of receptors differentially signal to intracellular pathways. One of them activates PK, the other one inhibits PK. So there's a push-pull separation there. They differ in other molecular respects. These guys express the peptide substance P as well as the opioid dinorphin, whereas these express the opioid peptide. What that difference really means and how it changes the function of the circuit is unclear, but something that we're interested in. And furthermore, as proposed in a very classic model of basal ganglia function, this direct pathway medium spiny neuron, when it's active, promotes movement of the animal, promotes locomotion, whereas this one inhibits movement. And it's thought that Parkinson's disease is one of the main causes of the disease is an imbalance between activity of these two pathways, such that indirect pathway activity is favored in Parkinson's disease, and that explains some of the difficulty of people with Parkinson's initiating movements. Now, another feature of the basal ganglia circuitry we haven't touched on yet is that this kind kind of box and arrow diagram is actually quite deceptive. It's not that all the cortex projects to all the striatum, projects to all growth cells. There are really several interlocking subloops, such that one part of the cortex will project to downstream areas, and another one will project to other downstream areas. So we really need to think of this as a series of loops between all the structures. So that's the question that really was very interesting to us, because how can this system wire itself? How can we have connections that are maintained across 4 or 5 nuclei, some excitatory and some inhibitory? How does the cell know where to project in the downstream area in order to close this loop? Okay? And that's what we're going to be the subject of today's topic. And we thought that this kind of loop is more easily formed via activity-dependent wire rules. That somehow the loop can detect when it's correctly wired based on patterns of activity in the wire loop. And that's what I hope to show today. I want to stress that this is fundamentally different than the best studied circuits in the brain in terms of development, which are sensory systems. And so, for example, in the eye, we know that, of course, the organization of the retina is topographic. It reflects the organization of the world outside us. So, for example, nearest neighboring cells within the retina are receiving information from nearest neighbor portions of the visual field. And that topographic arrangement is maintained through various stages within the processing system of the visual system. So, for example, within the thalamus, the lateral nucleus, and within the cortex. Furthermore, early in development, even before an animal is capable of seeing, even a mouse, even before the eye opens, it turns out that patterns of activity or waves of activity that spontaneously generate within these structures that can project information about nearest neighbor relationships forward. So, for example, there are waves of activity that come in the eye that are transmitted forward into the LV and transmitted forward into the cortex. They're passing information about what cells are near each other and therefore listening to or seeing neighboring parts of the visual field. And so there's a lot of theories about the development of the visual system in which it's clear that these kinds of waves, coupled with some learning rules for stabilizing the blind synapses, is sufficient to explain a lot of the topographic arrangement of the sensory system. And this is work that has appeared over many decades from people like Carlos Shad, Rachel Wong, Otto Feller, Marty Spicer, and many others. Quite interestingly, there's been recent work by Nick Christian White Burgle showing there's a very similar phenomenon in the auditory system. So it's starting in the inner ear, where there's a tonotopic arrangement, so that nearest frequency responding cells are close to each other. But they also pattern activity, waves of activity that propagate through that structure. They also transmit information about nearest neighbor relationships to downstream structures. So in this case, we have at least a model for how topography can be organized. And I think that's fundamentally different than this circuit. First of all, this circuit is not a direct sensory circuit. It's embedded within substructure of the brain, subcortical circuit. Secondly, it consists of mixed excitatory and inhibitory projections, and then multiple nuclei. So how can we have this system wired itself? And that was the subject of these two people here, Jim Kozorowski at Postdoc Lab and R.P. Saunders at Graduate Student Lab that worked together on this project. And so they decided, in order to understand if activity in the circuit plays a role in its development, the best strategy was to do what's said here, that silence either the direct or the indirect pathway and understand how we can balance the perturbation also of the circuit. Now these guys did the work, but since I'm at NIH, I want to really take some time to thank Chip Grossman, who's here. And so Chip's efforts as one of the co-TIs of the GenSat project along with Matt Hines has really enabled, I'd say, all of modern day manual research in the mouse. And so Chip was one of the people that really pushed forward the development of back transgenic mice that allowed GFP or pre-recombinase to be labeled to be expressed in particular subpopulations of the ganglion. Thanks to his efforts that we not only have the mice, but we really have well-characterized mice that allow us to put proteins into very specific elements of the ganglion. And we'll see in a minute how we use that technology. So, I'm showing you here are images of fluorescence patterns in a reporter animal that expresses a fluorescent protein under control of pre-recombinase. Now, on the left, we cross that reporter animal with another mouse that expresses pre-recombinase under control of the type 1 dopamine receptor, DRD1A. And remember, I told you at the beginning that the type 1 dopamine receptor is selectively expressed in the direct pathway in the spine neuron from the striatum. And so you can see here the fluorescence within the striatum, and then this coalescence of axons that are projecting from the striatum into the potential iris to light. So this is the tool that we'll use to turn on expression of protein within the direct pathway. On the right is a similar image obtained by crossing the reporter animal with the second animal that crosses expresses pre-recombinase under control of the type 2 dopamine receptor. And remember, this now labels indirect pathway. And you can see the very short axons that go from the striatum into the globus pallidus. And so we took these animals and crossed them with another animal. This is an animal that was made by Brad Lowell at that visual target, which is a conditional or logical allele of this gene, SLC32A1. This gene name is very important. The point is that this gene encodes a protein known as GGAP, the vesicular GABA transporter. And this is the only protein known to take GABA from the cytoplasm and package it into synaptic vesicles. And so the idea is that this mouse now will lose expression of GGAP in cells that express pre-recombinase. And therefore we can silence one pathway or the other pathway and see what the effects on development are. And so the D1 pre-GGAP plus animal will have a silenced direct pathway, whereas the other animal will have a silenced indirect pathway. It's important to keep in mind that we don't expect this to be toxic to the cells in any way. The cells will still be able to produce synaptic vesicles because they won't have GABA in them, so they just won't be able to output in the downstream nuclei. So here's an image of these mice. Turns out these mice are quite sick, and they all die by about 20 days of age. We can keep them alive a little bit longer by culling the litters, such that only the mutant mice are present with the mother, and that allows them to get better access to the mother and survive longer. And so here's an image of a mouse that has one copy of GGAP in the direct pathway, compared to a litter mate that has 0 copies. Obviously, this animal is runky, as I mentioned, is quite sick. The indirect pathway silenced animals are a little bit better off. They survive a little bit longer. They're a little bit runky as well. They're smaller in weight, but not as severely affected. Now, what's interesting is that these animals, despite being sick, already show the locomotor phenotypes that one would expect for perturbation of direct and indirect pathway. So this, what I'm showing you here, is a video tracking of the movement of these animals in an arena over an hour. And you can see that at 14 days of age, approximately, this animal here locomotes. This is a control, it has one copy of GGAP. Whereas its sibling that has no copies of GGAP shows much reduced locomotor ability. And this is consistent with these models of classical basal ganglia function that were proposed actually by Chip Grossman and others many years ago, and were very recently proven to be true by acute manipulation of direct and indirect pathways by people like Wes Travis, who are actually coming here to the Intramural program that work at the postdoc at Animal Crisis Lab.